Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it and I hope that this video finds you well. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at the brand new release by the company House of Sillage, and this one is called The Contemporary, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of The Contemporary by House of Sillage, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews just like this, but also top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, special guests, and pretty much anything having to do with fragrance, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, while you're at it, please make sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell. This way you never miss any of my future uploads. So here we have it, the brand new release by the company House of Sillage. This video is being shot in partnership with House of Sillage, and this one is called The Contemporary. Now, there are a few other fragrances, the classic, the formal. I also really love number one. They have so many fantastic fragrances that I personally own and I have been enjoying for the past couple of years now. And this is the brand new release, released as of this month, September of 2020. And of course, contemporary means recent or modern. And this is for the modern, sort of driven, ambitious, entrepreneurial gentleman who is not afraid to go out there and grab what he wants by the horns, grab the bull by the horns, so to speak, and really just achieve his every goal and dream and ambition and aspiration. And I really like the narrative behind this one, and I was reading up on it on their official website, and I really love all of the notes that are listed in there. The cinnamon, the plum, I'm a huge fan of plum-based fragrances, but it also has some woodsy ingredients to sort of ground it. But this is being marketed as a gourmand, and when you look at it, it does have some literal gourmand ingredients: the nutmeg, the cinnamon, the fruity notes, the plum, so on and so forth. Now, I'm going to be talking about, throughout the course of this review, of course, I'll be mentioning if I find this to be overly gourmand, what I find the relationship between the fruity notes, the plum, and the spices, and the cardamom, of course, to be with the woodsy notes and the animalic notes that are present in the base, because it is a pretty densely populated note breakdown, and there are some contrasting elements. So I'm going to tell you what I think the relationship is among all of the notes. Let's go ahead and start things off with the presentation. So the box for this one has stunning attention to detail. You have this plaque here on the front with the name of the collection, the name of the fragrance, and the name of the company. It also has this podium in which the bottle rests very comfortably in there. It has a card that details how to unlock the spraying mechanism, which I think is really cool. Gives you a set of instructions in there. And it also comes with this microfiber cloth so that you can polish off any fingerprints on your bottle. You have an inspection sticker towards the bottom here, and you have some more information along with 3 adjectives describing the fragrance written on the back. And the bottle for this one is beautiful. You have that same plaque here on the front, this gorgeous deep blue color to it with gold hardware. You have a sticker at the bottom with your information, and you have a button that you press on the top to unlock the spraying mechanism. And the distribution on the atomizer is nice and wide, and it is a pressurized atomizer. You can control how much you want to spray. Let's continue with the smell. Now, the opening of this fragrance opens up in this beautifully spicy way. So you have this really nice balance of the nutmeg and the cardamom. Now, they're not overly rich or overly strong to the point where it reminds you of a kitchen pantry or a spice kitchen or anything like that. But you can tell they're in there and they make their presence known. And I really like that because I think it conveys a sense of confidence, right? To where that nutmeg, cardamom rich combination in the opening, it's really beautifully done. And then once that settles down, which actually takes a while, I'm not given to understand that they're top notes or anything like that, so they actually do linger in the fragrance, you are going to get this plum sweetness in the fragrance, which I think is a really gorgeous touch. So you have the plum and the cinnamon. Now, they're not overly sweet, so I wouldn't be too quick to classify this as a gourmand fragrance. It has that aromatic appeal in the opening. It has the clary sage. So it opens up in this very fresh, spicy, yet inviting, charismatic and bold and dynamic way. But it also has that fruity accent in the heart that I guess sheds a spotlight on this plum note that I find to be really, really enjoyable. And it's not overly luscious, it's not overly ripe or anything like that. It doesn't have the saccharine sweetness about it, but you can tell it has a lot of these literal gourmand notes that are not overly sweet. So you can see there's this youthful or contemporary component about it, but it's not a childish, puerile, or juvenile sort of a fragrance, which we've seen way too much of in the industry. So I like how it has this confident yet young and mature sort of a thing going on in there. And yes, you can be both young and mature, even though it might sound a little bit oxymoronic. So I like that opening of the spice, and I think it's a really sort of classy opening that you're gonna get in this fragrance. And then the progression of the fragrance also evolves into something that I like equally as much, which is that plum cinnamon thing going on in the mid. Now, I think in the base is where the disagreement is in terms of what I perceive from the fragrance and what it actually says on the website. I don't really get too many animalic notes from this one, and obviously they don't use real animalic notes, which is a good thing, and that many of them are banned by the IFRA. But in the base, you do get this smooth, musky component about it. So maybe that's what they meant in terms of the animalic note. So that's good news for me. No civet, no castoreum, nothing of that nature, but you're gonna get this very smooth, musky vibe going on in the base with some woods that are blended really nicely with one another. The overall fragrance, I just think is very polished. You come across smelling like a very young, confident gentleman when you're wearing this one. It's not overly sweet in any way. I think it's more of an emphasis on the spices and the clary sage, and I do get a nice bit of that nutmeg and the cardamom, like I mentioned, in terms of that spicy profile. And I think that it's different from other fragrances that I've tried, which is amazing. And that's always something that I'm looking for. I'm looking for fragrances to be different and that provide me with a unique and novel olfactory experience, as opposed to putting my nose on something and saying, oh, this is familiar, I've smelled this before. That is not the case with this fragrance. And I think that this is an area in which House of Sillage specializes. There has never been a House of Sillage fragrance that I've smelled that I thought was reminiscent of something else that I've tried. And you can tell that they march to the beat of their own drum, right? They don't sort of follow the trends and see what's working in other dimensions and other branches of the industry, but they kind of do their own thing. And I love that. I love the uniqueness to it. And there are so many other House of Sillage fragrances that I absolutely can't wait to try. I've seen a lot of my peers here on YouTube review House of Sillage fragrances, and a lot of them, especially Wonder Woman, I should say, singular, they get praised quite a bit. And so I'm very excited to have this in my collection. I love this one. I'm gonna be wearing this one so much in the fall, and expect it to also appear on my top 10 favorite fall fragrances list, because I do think it's that good, and the spices definitely put me in the mindset of fall. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, there's no doubt about it, this is a unique fragrance in the sense that it is not reminding me of anything else that I put my nose on, and I love the interplay of the spicy ingredients, the aromatic ingredients, the fruity ingredients, but also the woodsy and musky ingredients that you're gonna get in the base. I think it's a really nice balance of everything. The overall smell is incredibly pleasant. I'm so happy to have this one in my collection. Longevity on this one was about 8 hours on my skin, so it really will get you noticed, and I remember picking this up from my UPS access point, which is a few blocks away from where I live. I wasn't home at the time, so they left the memo on my door, and I was so eager to open the box. I actually opened it up in my Honda Civic, and I remember spraying it on, and just the smell enveloped my entire car. I mean, the entire interior of my car was full with this gorgeous aroma, and I love having this. In terms of the projection, expect it to radiate off your skin for the first 2 to 2.5 hours. I don't think it ever radiates beyond an arm's length, so that's pretty good. It's not too loud, and it's not something that will suffocate anyone, of course. And then it didn't become a skin scent until about that 6.5 to 7 hour mark. So the projection and the performance in general of this fragrance is very, very good. In terms of the versatility, I think this one, as long as you can afford it, you can wear it casually. It definitely gives off this formal vibe. It would look perfect, or it would smell great in a suit and tie, just really dressed up, feeling your best, feeling confident. I think this one is really great for the colder weather. So as we're approaching the autumn and the winter, I think you will love wearing this one when there's a little bit of a bite in the air, a little bit of a chill in the air. And I think that this one is leaning in a masculine direction on account of the spices, but of course these are just recommendations. If you're a confident woman and you want to wear this one, by all means, please do yourself a favor and check it out, especially if you're a fan of spices like nutmeg, cinnamon, cardamom, so on and so forth. In terms of the presentation, I think it's gorgeous. Just everything about the bottle is absolutely stunning. My final verdict for this fragrance is I absolutely love this fragrance. You guys know House of Sillage has some incredible fragrances. I haven't reviewed every single House of Sillage that I own, but you can see that when I do review one, I always love them because I am a fan of the quality, the craftsmanship, and I love what the brand represents, what they stand for, and the quality of their perfumes. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. That was my fragrance review of the Contemporary by House of Sillage. If you own or have tried this fragrance or anything else that this company has put out, please go ahead and let me know. Leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to subscribe if you're new to this channel and you took something of value from this video. I would really appreciate it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, once again, while you're at it, please make sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell. Thanks again for watching. I love you all. We'll see you next time.